What's tells me I need to take some time off?
You need a vacation. I mean, but
You don't gotta turn it up.
yeah, no, it's fine. You ain't got to turn it down. I can still talk over it, I'm excited for today's episode. I think it's a great topic. For one, I actually had this conversation with my girlfriend prior to coming here, talking about the emotional debate. So, yeah. Great.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of Above Average Black Men. Yours truly, Chris Bender Sr.
Chris Jr., as always, here to empower, inspire, and
They used to say the floor is off. I'm used to somebody sitting right next to me.
Devin usually sits here when I'm here.
Yeah, we usually was like, okay, no, you're fine. Stay where you are.
I'm just, that's all you have to say.
I'm just used
It's
to,
okay.
The dynamic is off
It's
without
okay.
Devin. It's different.
But then now I gotta say Devin line too. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Above Average Black Man, A2BM. We're on all platforms. That's YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, Facebook Live. Interact with us. Send us any questions, people you want us to talk to, interview topics, all that.
Yeah, and iHeartRadio. Yeah.
Forgot about iHeartRadio. This is just growing. It's expanding.
Yeah, I got to get the Apple part set up. But yeah, welcome to another episode. Tonight's interesting. Tonight's going to be an interesting topic because, as you know, I work with a lot of men, and we meet community of men, and it's interesting because out of that you get to hear a lot. And I have guys who will call me and text me and so forth, and even outside of that realm, there's about 40 guys that I do morning devotional for. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I'm finding is the common thread is there's not a lot of spaces for guys to share their emotions, or to demonstrate their feelings without being deemed as weak or, man up, put your big boy pants on, and it's interesting because, I find myself in these conversations lately probing a lot to see, how people feel about it, especially females, especially females. And it's interesting because I do it two ways. I say, okay, how do you feel? About a man showing his emotion. Oh man, I think it's great. So I said, what about if it was your man? Then you get to pause. You get a dramatic pause. Like now I got to think about it. When I first said it, it was like, yeah. And then I said, what about your man? It was like a dramatic pause.
It's great in theory, I think, when it comes to when women talk about it. Because even, like I said, I was having a conversation with my girlfriend, and we were kind of having this discussion about this guy on a TV show. It's called Love is Blind.
Right. That's already sounding
right. So what it is these people sign up for this show. It's like this wall in between them. They can't see each other. They just talk to each other. But they got to get married at the end.
I seen the commercial.
Right. So it's this one guy in particular named Marshall who he was kind of emotional. He's one of those guys. He's want to talk about his feelings all the time. Like he, some would say, was just in his feelings. And then the woman that he wanted to be with ended up choosing another guy because he was just too emotional. Yeah. So I think it's good in theory, but that question of like your man, do you want your man to be like that? But to our topic tonight, it doesn't seem like there aren't necessarily any safe spaces, like to your point, where men can go and be like that because your partner certainly probably doesn't want to hear that and say that. Well, and at the heart of it, what we came down to is like you don't want to, as a decision maker, some would say, like you don't want that to be a person who makes their decisions based in emotions.
But so this is the flip side of that, and there's a couple of things I want to point out. Men and women are built differently.
Yes.
A woman will go to a woman and just bare her soul. They'll get together and they'll do whatever. In a lot of cases, they will. They'll share. Or some of them, they go to their mom because they have a relationship with their mom. They usually have somebody. Guys are a little different because, guys, a lot of dads tell their sons, don't cry. Yeah. Man up. And you should be able to go to your spouse, significant other, mate, whatever. You should be able to go to her and share these emotions. Because that's healthy for a relationship. Now, flip it. No, but I'm saying, but you should be able to, because this is the thing that I find ironic about it, because if he starts sharing with somebody else about her, she gets upset. Even if she hears him talking to his boys about her, it becomes a problem.
You're only supposed to do it with your boys.
No, but even that's what I'm saying. You start talking to your boys, why are you talking with your boys?
And even when you talk to your boys, it got to be a certain way of doing it at times. I feel like at my age, like you can't, or even with Devin's age, I would say like it's a way of even talking about it to your boys because you almost don't want to appear like you being too emotional to them.
Everything is not for everyone, but it's healthy. Emotion is something God gave us tear ducts so we could cry. I'm not saying you got to cry. You know, we were built to have emotions, and if you don't release your emotions, that's why guys are more likely to have heart attacks, stress, because they don't release their emotions. I'm not saying you got to always be crying.
Go in the closet.
You should be able to go to your spouse, significant other, and say, I'm just having a hard day.
Yeah.
This is really a tough time right now. Or I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. And it's kind of funny because if you go to therapy, because I talk to guys, they're asking you, what did you tell the therapist? Or what did you say? No, wait, what do you mean? What did I say? I should be talking to you. So I just think it's crazy, but I think that's to me, it helps strengthen a relationship when you can have a partner, somebody you can talk to, and I'm not saying cry boo, but share your emotions. I think that's real men. I think that's manly.
Do you think it's like a healthy balance of it though? Like,
I can't say what the balance is because, like, for instance, I've always been an emotional person, and it helped me be really good in athletics. It did. It helped me. Some of my best games when I was pissed off, upset, or angry. That's been me. I've always been an emotional person in every phase of my life. I remember crying when I lost in high school. Yeah. And so I've always been an emotional person.
I mean, that's because you really cared about winning and but
that carries into the other areas of life because I'm just saying, I'm the guy that's going to say I'll say I love you 4 or 5. I'm okay with that. And because I say it to y'all. I'm not. That doesn't bother me. I think people should know. I'm the guy that I think it's cool to hold hands. I think it's cool to say, you know what, man, I'm just having a tough time right now. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Your work is kicking my butt. Because we all need to have that release. And sometimes I don't need to hear from. I don't have a lot of friends anyway. No offense. I know a lot of people, but I do have some friends. But sometimes you want to be able to unwind with somebody that really cares, that you really care about.
Yeah.
You want to be able to. You just don't want to share the good times. You want to be able to share those moments. And man, you want to be a little transparent. And say, man, maybe man, I'm getting my butt kicked right now. Life is tough. I don't see what's wrong with that. I'm not saying, and occasionally, if you gotta cry, you gotta cry. I mean, that's a part of life.
That was the next question I was going to ask. Like,
I ain't say cry every day.
That's my point where it's like, maybe it's a healthy balance of it,
But but see, my thing is, who are we to say what the balance is? Sure. I can't determine what the balance for somebody else is because I don't know. Yes. Well, let's flip it around. You try telling her. What she should be emotional about, what she shouldn't be emotional. You try telling her what's really important, what's not really important. Then you got a big problem. So I think you can't do that. You can't say, okay, I'm going to tell you what I think, but then you get emotional over everything.
Yeah.
And how dare you say, well, I didn't think that was a bigger deal, because it's a big deal to them. And I always tell people, and I tell couples, you should never tell somebody that they're overreacting to something because that's how they feel. Whether you agree or disagree, that's how they feel.
So where do you think that this kind of, I guess we'd say maybe ideology kind of started, where men can't necessarily be too emotional? And it's like, how do you begin to break that cycle and make it kind of more acceptable amongst men and women, because I do think sometimes men's feelings do get just completely...
Sorry about that work tax. Go ahead.
No, but I do think like sometimes men's feelings just get completely kind of...
Well, I think it goes back from society, because society has defined what manhood is for the longest amount of time. I mean, sometimes it was Hollywood, because Hollywood had all these action heroes, man, who were kicking everybody's butt, beating people up, shooting them, killing them. For our community before your time, it was Shaft. People saw Shaft. All right, I want to be like John Shaft. Dolomite, whatever it was. You saw these movies and you saw these characters, and people were like, I want to be like that, but that's define what cool was.
Yeah.
And then women started thinking like, yo, that's a cool dude. I want my dude to be the superhero kind of dude. Because they thought that was defining manhood, especially if you come from a place where it wasn't really actually ever defined. And I think if you come now, right up your wheelhouse, social media has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Because they will depict what a man is. You know, what's
so
the Chick-fil-A?
Would you say your father was emotional at all? Like,
no, I mean my dad was. Yeah, he was emotional. He got mad. He wore me out, and which is kind of ironic because the days would have been his 88 today, so the day's birthday. So happy heavenly birthday, Dad. But yeah, I mean, I saw him cry at big moments. You know, not I should say when his mom died, things like that. But I didn't see him cry a lot. You know, but he wasn't the guy that was going to walk up and just give me a hug and say, "Yo, I love you." My dad didn't. You know, I never heard my dad say he was proud of me until, man, you were born. I was grown.
wow.
I was grown, man, and that was something that I always pursued. So he wasn't, and it's funny because there's a scene in Fences with Denzel Washington when he's talking to his son, and Denzel Washington never got a chance to play baseball. He was real good, but because it was just black versus white. Yeah. So his son is going to play football, and Denzel Washington tells him, "Leave it alone, leave it alone." So his son says, "Well, Dad, you never been in my games." He says, "You never even told me you love me." And Denzel Washington responds, classic answer, "Tell you I love you. Boy, I put food on the table. I put a roof over your head. You got a bed to sleep in. Tell you I love you." And it's crazy, but that's a classic response from some people. A lot of men think, "I'm not going to tell you that. I do this. Don't you? That happens today. I deal with females who would tell me, I'll say I love them. He says, well, me too. I hear it all the time. Because
love me too or love you? Like
no, because because early on it's a weakness. Don't show weakness.
So, like, again, do you think that's probably more so kind of generational at some point? Like, it's just passed down? Because you aren't necessarily like that. Like, where...
Yeah, but I think in any case, you have to be conscious about breaking a cycle. And anything, you got to be conscious about breaking a cycle. And you have to take a look at yourself and be honest and say, hey, I love my parents, whomever, but just because they parent me that way does not mean I have to continue in that manner. Because I also think... And people are going to have a stroke when I say this. I think it also has contributed to the deterioration of the family because kids don't know. So, for instance, if you're not telling your daughter's beautiful, and you're not telling her, you love her, because men are not supposed to show their emotions. The first pretty Ricky with a cheese biscuit is going to show up and say I love you, and she's going to think that's because she doesn't know
biscuits. But it's
because she doesn't know.
I'm just thinking that I'm different from you though, where
Yeah, I know you are. It's funny because I'll say it to y'all be like, "You're right." Me too.
I don't know why I'm like that, but
but I know why because it's the image of you get this image of manhood, and it comes in various fashions, and we have. Most people don't want to admit it, but we all have several influences in our lives. We do. Mm-hmm. There's several things that influence all of us, and there's different for all of us, but they are. And if your idea of being macho, for lack of a better word, is not saying that to another guy, you're not gonna say. It took me, I was grown and safe for years before. I remember the first time somebody said, "What's your agenda?" I really, what is your agenda? I really had to stop and think. Now, almost my closest friends, that's how almost every phone call is ended like that.
Yeah.
And we were all in the same boat. We're never going to say that, man. I remember when somebody got serious hurt, you be concerned, but man, you ain't act like you were concerned. Yeah, he'd be all right. In the back of your mind, like, is he gonna be okay? But because that's the way we were raised in that era, we thought that was rough, tough.
And I think that's really what it is too. It was like just the era, I guess, in which I was in, where I got it at home. Like you were always affectionate and always I feel like kind of loved on us, but the outside world wasn't necessarily like that. So it was just kind of, I guess, maybe feeding into that in a sense.
Because I took from my mom. I got that from my mom, not my dad. My mom, my mom was like that. My mom was like,
my mom's not like that.
My mom, yeah, but my mom was like that. When I always hugged when we came in the house, man. She used to call me my first name. She was always like that. Made sure she called on every birthday. You didn't go there without getting a kiss on the cheek. That's how she was. My grandmother was the same way. So I got that from them. And because I got it from, I guess I got a taste of it. It became something that I thrived off of. My dad was different. My dad was more the other side of me, the no nonsense side, the competitive side, the side like, this is what you got to be. So you figure we all figure out who we are, and it's different for all of us. But for me, I liked what I was getting from my mom. I liked what I was getting from my grandma because it made me feel good. It kind of affirmed me, especially if I had other failures that I was dealing with. That was the affirmation that made me feel good. That was the affirmation that made me say, I got somebody in my corner. I knew playing sports, my dad was there. He would watch the game and everything, but he would never say, one time he did. I never forget. One time we were playing, and we were playing football, and somebody threw a pass, and I went and got it, and everybody was like, I'm like everybody else, yeah. And I go over there, and he looked at me.
I do this.
He looked at me and said, good catch. He said, good job. And after the game, he says, I didn't know you had that. But it was never like, yeah.
That's my boy.
Like, no, yeah, I never got that. Now, my brother Mike, on the other hand, he would be in.
Oh, man.
Mike is an emotional, fire up guy, ex-Marine, ex-state trooper. He has that in his DNA.
Right.
I'm looking at my brother Jay. Jay don't say much.
Right. He's not really emotional.
He don't hurt. I mean, that's how he responds. I mean, and Jeffrey is somewhere in between.
Yeah.
He is so we all had the same mom and dad, all same environment. We took different things from our parents. I think that's what people forget. We all find something that kind of attracts us, that influences us. My thing is that you have to create a space for men to be able to express themselves, to be able to say, this is how I feel, and not be, judged, not be criticized, not be ridiculed, or not to be felt like now I'm a less of a man because I told my woman I'm having a tough time. Because, we live in a town down, man, like no other town we've ever seen. You're talking about COVID, you're talking about violence, you're talking about drugs. It's a tough time.
Yeah, for everybody.
Yeah, but I think for especially men, and I'm not.
No, I'm just saying.
Don't get me wrong, but
for everybody,
it is.
So
but for men who are trying to do the right thing, it's extremely tough because you're out there and stuff is not going your way, and you don't have another outlet. It can become a problem, man. I mean, I pray like 10 times a day. That's part of my therapy.
It's like, so what do you think is the outcome of men not having an emotional outlet?
I think you get what you get now. You get people who are dead of emotion. You get people who can just shoot somebody and don't care. Who just take something from somebody and just don't care. Because you become emotionally dead. Yeah, you become emotionally dead and you get selfishness and not selflessness. That's what you get. You get people who make decisions all about me because I don't care how I make somebody else feel. You get men leaving their wives to start another family and not talking to the kids they have because I don't care because it's about me. You get that, and it's on both sides of the fence, but we're talking about men right now. So that's what you get. I think it's kind of funny because we love to see emotion in sports. Man, we'll turn on sports, man, and let Steph Curry or somebody. But let Steph Curry or somebody start crying. That's the greatest thing in the world, man.
It's because he won.
Yeah, but they say it. But let you start crying on the sideline. What's wrong with him?
No, you had good point. We're talking about this in sports because Embiid just won MVP, and I don't know if you saw the video. He cried when he won it, and it's just like people still celebrated him, but it was like you can hear people in the background like, is he crying? He crying? Like again, I think it's probably more so like a societal thing where it's like we're not supposed to be too emotional. There's limits to it. There's definitely limits to it.
He cried because James Harden gave him a Rolex. But I think
there's limits to it. It's limits.
But how should I limit what somebody's emotion is? How should I say, okay, I think it's so cool when you cry when you get married. When you cry when you get married, I think it's so cool you cry when you have a baby. But don't cry when you got a lot of crazy stuff going on.
It depends on, I guess, what you're doing and who you are. Like
but I think
if this is a guy.
But see, I don't see what's wrong with Sean. I don't
crying in the trenches.
I'm not saying every time I'm go wrong, you boo hoo. I'm not saying it. And I'm not saying it. Yeah, you snot on the. No, I'm not saying that. My 4-year-old grandson don't cry like that. But I am saying though, there's guys need a space to be able to say how they feel and what they're going through.
Your friends.
That's why a therapist is. But see, everything is not for everybody because your friends sometimes. Your friends can be dumbing in a bag of rocks, man.
That's true. Because it's like certain things you don't even want to kind of reveal.
Or then it becomes a group discussion, or now you're around the rest of your boys, and y'all hanging out having a good time. Yo, remember when? Yeah, I mean,
sometimes people just crazy like that.
So I think you got to be careful with that. But I think guys
you can have a best friend, right? Where you could just
you can if you have it, but I think guys need the space though, and I think as one who works with men, I hear it all the time. I can't tell somebody that I don't have somebody I can go to and say my wife and I we just not clicking right now. Hey, I don't know what to do. What do and I mean, so guys do struggle with that, or guys that say, you know what, I'm trying to talk to my wife about this, but I can't because she don't
start
understand.
A men's support group?
No, I'm just saying that. No, it is. I'm not saying the support group, but we meet every Monday from 7 to 8 called the Community Men. It's a great group to get on there. We talk about biblical stuff, but people chime in and people, guys say, hey, yo, this is what's going on. This is what I've been, and they answer each other. So it's a great group. Let's say I try to stay away from advice,
stuff
but
online though too.
But it's a great group. But you want to have a space, but you also want to have it somewhere where somebody like I don't want to get on somewhere with a bunch of guys in the square that I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be somewhere where you can build up a relationship with guys and kind of have an understanding. Because then again, I need to know if somebody's telling me what they've been through. I kind of want to know who it is so I can kind of relate to it.
Yeah. And not be on some big forum with like a bunch of
Jerry Springer next day. I shouldn't say he passed away, but Oprah Winfrey. But I just think it's important that we understand that guys have emotions too, because a lot of guys have strokes. Stress is real. A lot of guys suffer from anxiety. Heart attacks because of stress.
I think that's actually an interesting point too about like not having a place to actually release your emotions is the physical aspect of like what it can do to you. Like, to your point, heart attack. We die at an early age enough as it is, and then the healthcare system
it's not healthy.
It's not healthy.
And I think whenever you're not healthy mentally, it begins to attack you physically. And I think people have this weird way of disconnecting the two. Mm-hmm. But it's not, it's like, it's crazy because it's like when you're playing and the adrenaline, and you get hurt, the adrenaline keeps you going. Then when it's over, you hurt like the Dickens. So your mind, because your mind is not even thinking about it. Your mind, I got to do this. And I think what we forget when it comes to our personal lives, that we got to have kind of that same thing, that we have to understand how sensitive and how important our minds are. Mm-hmm. We got to understand, man, that, hey, I got to, I'll give you another point. To me, and I'm sure you'll agree, when I'm mentally tired, it's the worst time of fatigue, man. When I'm physically tired, I can take a nap. When I'm mentally tired, it takes me days to recuperate.
Being mentally drained is like a whole other.
I mean, and that's
why a nap doesn't fix.
And that's why I tell people you got to hold on to your joy. You got to make a conscious decision. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to let somebody pull me off course. I'm not going to let somebody pull me off course, because I know when I get off course, I'm going to be off course 1 minute. Because it's hard to get back in, and because I talk to so many people, because I hear so much, because I supervise, do these different things, I hear a lot of stuff. So I need to be able to say, hey, yo, this was the kind of day it was. I need to be to say certain things and not feel like I'm being judged. I need to be able to say, hey, like when kids get shot, that bothers me.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to walk around like I'm Superman, like, oh man, this dude. But yeah, I mean that, when politicians say stupid stuff, that bothers me. When somebody died and you get into the party they went, or whether they were legal immigrants or not, I think that I want to be able to say that. I don't want to be saying, okay, now I got to say and hold it in. I just don't. It's not healthy, but it's not fair, because guess what? If we sitting there watching a chick flick and they feel like crying, they cry. I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but they do. So, and I'm not saying we got to cry, but or how many times you got into a conversation with your significant other and they were emotional? They were emotional.
What's funny about even saying being emotional is like it can't even be maybe even defined or looked at in a different way too. Because like again, like I think you're talking about like a healthy conversation and dialogue, but there are some people who again maybe a little bit like, irrationally emotional, like, making, again, brash or terrible decisions.
Well, I'm not saying uncontrolled emotions. I think, and I say this to anybody, to clients where I'm talking to, I say this to young people, you need to control your emotions, not have your emotions control you.
And that's probably what I'm thinking of.
When your emotions control you, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. That's just the reality of it.
I think we see a lot more people like that today, though. Dad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I agree, because we're not teaching them, because we're telling them.
We don't.
God, but it's just like it's like the first time you feel pain.
But then, why do you think that though? Like I did. I have a thought.
Like I said, it's like the first time we feel pain. It's the home, and it's also society, because if you see somebody on Facebook crying, it goes viral. Everybody's laughing. Oh, look at dude's on there. It's people make fun of him.
Yeah.
He look boo-hoo, it's not coming.
I just started thinking about Tyrese crying. I don't know if you've seen that video. I
didn't see it.
Why they doing this to me?
But see, look at you making fun of him. See, you making fun of him.
No, because everybody knows
but I'm saying though, then it becomes a meme.
Exactly.
Every time something happens, that's what somebody sings.
They put Tyrese.
So, but because it's not acceptable in society, man. Because men are not supposed to cry. We're not supposed to be emotional. We're not supposed to. No, I'm sorry. It's supposed to be. Most women want to hear you say, "I love you." They don't mind you being emotional there.
Yeah, but then it's like.
But then they don't want the other side of the coin. Say, "Look, man, I'm frustrated as the Dickens," and they're not saying the Dickens. And there's times when I know there's times when I've gotten better when I was just really, really, really frustrated.
Women don't find it attractive though.
Well, you know what? Then fine. Then I just ain't gonna be attractive, but I'm gonna be helpful.
You're married. That's easy for you to say.
Even if I was single,
You're
man,
married.
Let me tell you. No, it's not because I look at the circumstance of my life. Like Monday, I was diagnosed 12 years cancer free. And because I had cancer, I look at things differently, man. I'm not gonna let somebody.
I'm just saying. I'm just like thinking of people my age and Devin age out here on dates.
But I guarantee you, there's people out there thinking, do you want somebody that you can't be you with?
I just had it rough.
do you want somebody you can't be you with, or do you want somebody that's like, yo? I'm not saying you.
It's not that you can't be you.
I got a ticket today. My boss told me. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you should be able to go to your significant other, woman, whoever it is in your life, and say, yo, I'm having a tough week. It's been a tough week. Things are just not going right. I need to get this off my chest. And I'm not saying so what? You rather just start breaking? I had a client. This was when I first started in fatherhood. I was doing a workshop on night Norristown. And I had a client, man. Almost every week he was showing up with a TV. I'm like, dude, why are you bringing the TV to the session on Friday, man? Because he would get mad and break the TV. So I'm like, dude, how much is that costing you? Your anger is costing you a whole lot of money. So finally we worked it out. But I'm saying, is that what you want? Is that how you want guys to express it? And back then TVs weren't that expensive. I'm just saying though, we breaking TVs like every week almost.
Express it like that at all. Like go to the gym.
So but you got to give them an option. Okay, we'll go to the gym. Like you can't. So 2:00 in the morning you gonna get up and go to the gym.
Yeah.
Nah, see that's
anytime fitness.
I don't like it when people. I don't like it when people say that, man. I don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it. And when I'm doing a workshop and somebody says that. I can't say it. So if you're looking, I can say this now. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard, man. Because if you at work and it's 10:00 in the morning, you can't stop working and go to the gym. That can't be the solution. You gotta have another solution, man. And your outlet needs to be able to say, "Yo, I can have this conversation." Oh, you gonna get okay? You won't have that job long. Why is he doing push-ups in the middle of this meeting? No, you should be able to say to your significant other, and just like I told
you, need friends,
it's okay.
Quality friends. It's
okay, but friends. See, that's a whole nother show. The definition of friends.
True.
But it's healthy for guys to be able to say, "Look, hey, I'm going through something." If that's your wife, significant other, or your girlfriend, whatever you want to call it, you should be able to have those intimate conversations.
What if there's a problem?
That's a whole other show, but you better talk about the problem, Then you gotta hit him with the I statements. This is how I feel when you do that. See, workshop. you got to change the statement. You got to say, this is how I feel. You don't say you make me feel because then you give them power and you blame them. You stay away from the blame. See, you say, this is how I feel. When you do that, you see, I'm telling you, man, it's all in how you verbalize the conversation.
Yeah.
See, you can't do this. So you got
What I think, friend, like fortunately a father. A father. A friend and a father.
Yeah, but it's how you package it. But I think we got to get past the stage where we have guys feeling like I can't share my emotions. Because guys are walking around tied up in knots, man. Guys are walking around and they freaking out on other people because it builds up. So now you bump into my car, I'm ready to go to war. Yeah. It ain't even about you bumping into my car. It's about, for 6 years, I've been building this up on inside and it got to come out.
Right. So do you think it matters at all if it's like, if someone's coming from a single parent household or dual?
So now you're trying to get me. Wait a minute. Okay, you got to be more.
I'm just asking in terms of like.
I do. I think it matters.
Sometimes people cannot necessarily balance and handle their emotions.
I think it goes both ways. I said because I think sometimes, I think sometimes. But see, I think sometimes. See, to me, and this is here on. Let me finish what I'm about to say.
Nuclear
I think every boy is going to look for some man to affirm. I'm just saying it. So what happens is, if I'm in a house and I'm being raised by a single woman who got a problem with men, sometimes it can be a little tough because she's going to tell them what her perception of a man is. You can't cry. You're the man of the house. And you hear that all the time. So now all of a sudden, you 20 years old. That's your mentality. I can't show that weakness because my mom is embedded in me this whole time. Adversity, there's been somewhere you could tell their mama's voice. So I couldn't pinpoint on that, but I think how you raise is important. And like I said, I found a balance between my mom and my dad. But naturally, people gravitate to one parent. Not picking one over another, but you pick up the qualities of one parent.
Yeah.
Very seldom do people pick up the qualities from both. I think I'm in that category. Because like I told you,
where you have both.
I think I have. I know I have qualities from both of them.
I think I do too.
And it's funny because I laugh about it. You don't see. I think even with emotions, as adults, we teach our kids more by what we do than what we say.
Yes.
Because kids watch you. How do you handle your anger? How do you handle your frustration? Kids pay attention to that. So you can give them all the great new Rockney speeches, Brian Piccolo, whatever you want to say, all day long, Rockney speeches, but they watch you. So if I'm watching you not showing any emotion, if I'm watching you and you keep telling me men don't cry, oh, what's wrong, walk it off and all this stuff, that becomes my mentality because I want to raise my dad.
So that's actually a good point there too, is that kids actually see more of what you do versus what you actually say to them. And in terms of, again, being emotional, I think something that sometimes conflict resolution, that's something that you don't necessarily kind of see. And no, because
I'm laughing because it's true.
It's true. I think that's something that also kind of impacts some people's emotional state and being.
It does. It's feedback.
Right.
What
it's
we're talking
how
about.
They see people handle conflicts and relationships.
Because some people think means saying I'm sorry, I'll apologize means I'm weak. There's people who just never going to say I'm sorry or I'll apologize. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And they think because they were told that's a sign of weakness. The sign of weakness is saying I'm sorry. So
that means I lose.
Don't say it. I'm sorry. But sometimes you do lose because you're wrong. That's the reality of life, man. When you're wrong, you're wrong. I wouldn't look at it as a loss. I look at it as, I stand corrected.
I think that's what it is. I don't look at it as a loss. It's just stand.
But I know if I could not release my emotions,
actually, no, you lose some.
If I probably have a stroke by now.
Yeah.
If I couldn't release my emotions. And again, there's good and bad. Because I know when I was playing sports, my emotions served me well. However, people who played against me may not have thought so.
He's crazy.
But But it helped me be, the adrenaline's flowing, man. You're more focused, you into it. It did. But I knew I couldn't be married doing that. Because now one is not a competition. But two, I'm talking to my wife. I ain't running ball or shooting hoop, or playing baseball, football. So that's a different aspect of it. And as you get older, you should get more mature. The more mature you get, you should get more information. The more information you get, you should be able to change the way you think. I used to get upset. I used to get angry. I used to get frustrated easily. Yeah, I was. And it's funny you should say it because I'll say out of both of us, I'm probably the more emotional one. Your mom, I'm probably the emotional one.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And I think because I'm able to be okay with that, one, because let me back up. I'm okay because I know who I am. You're not going to define me by what you think. I could give a rat's butt what you think about me. That's not important to me because I know who I am. And the second part of it is, I'd rather be healthy. I don't need to walk around here, with this facade that I'm machoism, but I got knots all in my stomach, man. I'm not sleeping at night, or some people just angry. They're angry all the time.
I think was actually something interesting that you said, walking around macho.
Yeah.
But I think you can be both. You know what I mean? You can still be considered.
I don't care what you do, but I'm saying don't be doing it with a facade.
Don't be comfortable with doing yourself.
I see this all the time.
You still get stuff done. That's how
it's like you run into somebody.
You're not overly emotional.
You ask somebody how they doing. You ask somebody how they doing. Oh man, I'm doing, and they know they not. But we just so trained to give certain answers.
Because you don't want to be overly emotional to everybody.
Ain't overly emotional, I mean,
or maybe you just don't open up to too many people. I'm just thinking like
no, but I'm not saying this wrong or right. You do. There was a time when I was down. You ask me, I'm always happy. To me, because of what I've been through. I see, and people think they laugh when I say it. People used to be saying it now. I'm living my best life.
Yeah.
It could be better. I know, but it will be better. I'm not saying every day is a perfect day, but that's an emotion.
Yeah.
And I don't mind sitting down, coming home, talking to your mom. Today just wasn't a good day. Today just, man, I was a biscuit away from turning into Chris from North Philly today. I had to kind of, retract and hear myself together.
That's a different conversation too. You're just talking about how you was getting upset and you venting and like.
But that's part of showing emotion, having feelings.
But you ain't come home and was like, oh my God.
But see, why emotions gotta always be crying? See, that's you, man. That's you. That's you painting this picture. You ain't gotta cry all the time to be emotional. No.
That's what I think of when I hear.
See, but that's a false perception. But that's my point. That's a false perception because you think the only emotion is no. There's emotion. You could cry and be happy. You can cry because you're in pain. It's not just because you're sad. I mean, an emotion could be, man, some people dance. They get a little pep in their stuff. Sure. Emotions is not just crying. See, that's
society then. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that's you made that up. You messed that. You can't blame anybody else for that. This is what we miss Devin at, because Devin is Mr. Street. He would have
definitely agreed with me. He'd be like, yeah, it's kind of like that.
See, this means you didn't read any of my books, but that's all right.
Look at this free pro. I need to promote something. I said that before the show. I'm gonna have something.
Give me the ball when grown men, but you got to be one of my books. You probably need to be both of them. But nah, seriously, I just think men need a space. And if you're out there,
I do believe that.
Men
I
need
can't
a space.
say that like.
But you should be able to say, man, I'm just having a tough day.
Yeah. You
should be able to say to your significant other, whoever they are, and say, look, hey, man, I'm just not feeling what's happening right now. I got to get, you should be able to.
Yeah.
You should not have to feel like, man, I'm going to be weak if I go home.
I can talk to Justin. Like, that's my closest friend. I feel like I probably would do that before I would say talking to you.
Yeah, but see, this is the problem. See, while you talking to Justin, a hard leg, I'm talking to my wife and I'm cuddling. So
you're talking to Justin.
That's a whole different.
That's a whole different thing, man. Different levels in our lives.
But every guy needs. If you're in a relationship, we're talking about being in a relationship. You should be able to share. If you like, I wouldn't marry somebody who I could not. I would not say I'm going to spend the rest of my life with somebody. Death do us part with somebody who I can't hold my emotions to. Who, if I'm vulnerable enough and I got to cry, I'm okay.
It's not saying that you can't.
No, you are. You like, and you getting all dramatic. Stop. No, sometimes you can cry and tears just run down your eyes. Every crying, world is coming to an no. And I'm not saying cry because they're gonna flip turn. No, I'm not saying that. I don't think that sometimes as guys, it's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay to say, look, hey.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, man, I'm just having an off day today. Because why are you with anybody who you can't be yourself with? Why are you with somebody that's okay?
That's why I said you have your best friend for you take that.
No, I'm not talking about you, but that's cool. I said we talking about in a relationship.
Yeah, I still feel like you. I don't know, because there's the other side of it. I don't think women want to hear it.
But then you got the wrong woman. I say that publicly. If you got a woman that don't care how you feel, you need to move on.
Too much.
But see, there you go. I can't. It's like, if I'm talking to guys, if somebody I know hit me up, say, yo, I'm going through, what about this? What about this? I don't get into how many tears did you shed? Was it a bucket? Was it a thimble? Did snot come out? Did your eyes red? No, they had. This is what's going on. We have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not measuring how much emotion they had, because that's not my place. And that's, but guys need to be able to say, hey, I'm not, and again, I'll repeat this. I'm not saying cry and boo, but guys should be able to say, yo, I'm having an off day. I'm feeling it's better than me coming home snapping.
Because that, you know what, that's the other side too. If you hold things in for too long, definitely has to come out some type of way. And
it's going to come out.
It doesn't come
out.
Let
me tell you something, man. I'm holding on to this. I'm holding on to this as long as I can.
Go to the gym.
I'm holding this for as long as I can, man.
What?
My hair.
Insanity?
My hair. I'm holding, as long as I possibly can. Hey, I'm trying my best not to ever fall over stress. It ain't gonna be for stress. It'll be naturally. And I think we have to learn mechanisms, man, to handle our stress. I'm not saying we don't, but also at the same time, we need a safe place. We need a safe place. We definitely we need a safe place. So
there's somebody trying to dial in.
Yeah, somebody wants to call in, man.
If you call back, you can get in.
Yeah, if you call back, you can get in because I missed that one. I just really wasn't paying attention. I saw it pop up. But we do. You got to have a safe space, man. I think a lot of times we don't have.
Yeah, it definitely.
Yeah,
I feel like to have again a space where you can be open and free and vulnerable. But again, I'm not sure if it depends on maybe where you at.
All right, you're on.
Grand
Hello?
evening, fellas, and y'all are absolutely correct. And I'm glad to hear you all speaking and sharing and building each other up because you get a raw deal in this world.
We sure do. So what are your feelings about a guy who cries?
I already put it in the chat. Weeping
Yeah,
is
but
a cleansing.
but the other listeners can't see the chat.
Oh, okay, cool beans. Weeping is a cleansing. We have to weep. That's just a part of the cleansing process. And you ought to be able to allow to express your emotions. You have them. And if you're with a partner whom you can't express your emotions with, hey you!
You can't see my face, though. But I'm smiling.
So there's no, reason to be with a being that doesn't even embrace your vulnerabilities, all of you, basically. All of you. And a lot of fellas, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Y'all be settling for less based on the facts or whatever the fact. Y'all good men. And this I know. Well, they put it out there saying women try to change men, but a lot of men be like, "Oh, she gonna change." No, man. If she was from the streets, from the door, she might need to watch that. But y'all feelings do matter, and there's nothing wrong with a man that is able to express his emotions. And if it means he weeps, then he should have that safe space to do it. I yield.
That's what I'm talking about. You can't see my face, but I'm smiling in the air.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in. We greatly appreciate that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. I had to take that. But that was from a female perspective. And that's what I said. I believe there's a lot of women out there who think that's okay. I think there's a lot of women out who thinks that's okay. I do think sometimes, and she made a good point. Plug up.
Never been the golden age.
Now it's not the golden age. Just like God instilled in you, my dad instilled in me. I'm an individual.
It's
man.
Not enough individuals out here.
But that's not my problem. That's their problem. I can't.
See, that's what I said. Y'all.
But I can do what I'm doing now. I can talk to people. I can work with men. I can share things. I can talk about, hey, it's okay. I can help. To her point, don't settle. And most of the times, this is another whole show. You settle because it's a physical thing. You ain't taking care of yourself mentally. You selling because, I got this physical thing. Meanwhile, you between your ears upstairs, you're a wreck. Yeah. You're a wreck. You crying on your board. I just want to go to the basketball game. So you gotta have an outlet, man. And I get the gym and all that stuff, but you need a way to express yourself.
I think it's like part of the gym is also the mental aspect too. Like, so you do.
But we are human beings. Human beings were created to be in fellowship. We're not created to just go lift weights all the time. We usually take a blank canvas out of work and start painting. Hold on, let me paint. So you should have somebody you can say, hey, and she made an excellent point. You need somebody who can it can be a conversation sometimes. Not always just like I know Justin. Justin
it's
be
a
cool,
good point.
but I know and because I know Justin, Justin ain't always gonna be like King Solomon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just being honest. I have friends the same way. They're not gonna be giving me a bunch of wise stuff, man. They'll be telling me from their personal experience and all that. And sometimes you kind of need somebody who knows you totally, not just from when they see you.
I do think it was kind of maybe intentional to almost make it like that, though. Where
no, I can't get into.
No, I do think it's intentional.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah, conspiracy. No, think breaking up the family. One for sure, intentional. That induces or creates like emotional and.
But again, even if it was intentional, we allow that to happen. Just like I raised y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I make sure I gave you enough information to make a choice. I can't choose for you, but I gave you enough information to choose. What you think is a part of you, and what you think is a healthy part of. That's up to you.
Right.
But my job is to sow the seeds. But what I'm saying is, and that was a great point, Energy Divine made up. We got to stop selling, because when we settle, see, most of us, we get involved in relationships and we pick one or two things that makes us feel good. And we think we can trade this other stuff off because it's not that important to us. The reason why it's not that important is because you ain't going through it right now. So I can say, oh man, she fine, man, and she does this for me, she does that for me, so I don't need to be able to talk to her. And then you get to your stage in your life, and you're looking for somebody to have those conversations with to help you through some rough times. She's not the one. Yeah. So now you got a problem. So I think we have to be more holistic in our approach to finding mates.
True.
We have to be more transparent, in our emotions. And again, I'm not saying boo-hoo, 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 but I need to be, like, I know I could not be in a relationship if I couldn't say, I'm just having a tough time. Today was a tough day because, like I said, the anniversary, my dad's birthday was today. He was 88 today. On my dad's birthday, my mom's birthday, those days I struggle with. So I need somebody to understand that. I don't need somebody tell me, well, okay, fine, just mad I'm going to work. No, I need somebody to sympathize with me.
I think you made a great point in the beginning of the show when you asked the question of women.
Young people,
no.
Oh yeah,
asked that question.
Did I say it on there? I don't know if they heard that.
I don't know if they did. Nah. But you made that point.
And I'll say it again because I've asked. Because you know me, I'm a research kind of person. Yeah. So I'll throw stuff out there. And what I asked if you weren't here, I would ask women, what do you think about a guy who, shows his emotion? They think it's the greatest thing in the world. So I said, what about if it's your guy? And then you get the dramatic pause. Like, let me really think about it. So it's good when someone else's guy. It's good when you looking at TV. Oh, can you believe he cried? And they all laughing for him. But when your man crying, like you just said, you choosing to make.
So you can make a movie about it.
So you would give up.
Be in my house.
I would love to get some women on the show to talk about this. So you're telling me
too.
You would give up a good man, not boo-hoo, but because he shows his emotion, versus somebody's not going to treat you as good, but he's strong. Come on, that's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Dad, you gotta watch this thing that I was talking about.
I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. But I do. I get what you're saying because I see it because I work around a bunch of people. I get involved in these conversations. I hear some of the stuff they say, and part of it is because again, I'm like the young lady said, guys are trying to be dudes. You did all the guys. I mean, girls are trying to be dudes. All the guys they date and they trying to thug up and all that, and I don't want to hear. Nah, okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I want my woman to be a woman. I want to be able to say, look, hey,
you can get in trouble for saying that.
I don't care. I'm just saying, I want to be able to talk. Your mom and I, we talk about everything.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to do that. I don't want to be able to say, okay, I can only talk to her when I come home and I'm making money. I can't come home and say, yo, man, this client is driving me crazy, man. Or I want to be able to, hey, look, man, I had these kids today, man, and some of the stuff they share with me.
You wouldn't do it every day.
It's heart-wrenching. No, because you don't get emotional every day. But you have some days, there's some Fridays when I'm full from all the stuff that I've taken all week long that I need to release it. Now, part of it is, my grandson. So him and I laugh, joke. When I'm with him, I don't think anything else. Yeah. But there's times when I need to talk. There's times I need to say, yo, this is weighing heavy on me. There's times I need to say, yo, one of my kids driving me crazy, But you all need it. And I think we get to a point we think it's not important. And that's why a lot of relationships go bad because he's holding it, he's not saying anything, and then when something happened, he's ratting off all this stuff. I never had a chance to say this. I never, and they all of a sudden they implode over stuff they could have resolved years ago.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just I don't want people to think that I think emotional is just always crying.
Right. Oh, you do. You said it. You said it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I do.
And you blame your generation is different. No,
different. No,
it's not.
know,
I mean,
I just think that there's certainly healthy ways to do it though too.
But why is crying? Why is crying unhealthy? Crying is another way to get. Your tears are waste. It's another way of getting waste out your body. It's nothing seriously. So what's not healthy about it?
I'm not saying that it's not.
You're not crying to central fluids. It's not like your blood is running out. No, it's waste. That's why your tears are salty.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not necessarily a bad thing. I did make.
But you keep saying not necessarily. You keep putting that little preface on it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not
for me. But maybe those are things I still need to work through.
Yeah, you do.
All right.
Because I think we have, and without getting too deep into it, and the Bible's clear on that, meekness does not mean weakness. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. And I think people, when you're meek and you're humble, and maybe you shed a few tears, people mistake that for being weak. People think you're automatically. When I went to school with a guy named Mike. Mike was a big, strong dude, man. And whenever Mike got mad, he would cry. And what people understand was when he started crying, there was no turning back. It was like, get away from him because he's about to go off. And people thought that was a weakness, and many people got knocked out. Because once he started crying, it was like, yo, you ain't calming him down. So it's not a weakness, man, and that's how he just was an emotional dude,
right?
And he was huge. He was just an emotional dude, man. I think we have to stop saying, men, this is how you have to act. This is the definition of manhood. And a manhood is you got to be like, wherever the recent stud is in Hollywood, that's what you got to be.
But you know what it is for me though too is like I don't know, maybe I do be thinking maybe it's sports a little bit too. Like when I was growing up, like never really, that was the thing. Like you couldn't do that, Like guys were pretty much made fun of for doing stuff like that.
They sure. Let me tell you.
So that's I think another thing too is like for me, like seeing
when I was in high school and we lost,
like, we're not supposed to do this.
People made fun. I mean, there was people who made fun. And my comeback was, "That's why I'm better than you." I mean, because typically people make fun of what they don't understand. They do. People make fun of what they don't understand. People who make fun of somebody else showing emotions, they probably have difficulty showing their emotions. Or maybe they just don't care enough. It's like if somebody breaks up with somebody and they're heartbroken, why are you crying? There's so many women out there. People say stupid stuff.
Yeah.
They say stupid stuff. But if you're truly in love with somebody, it hurts. And it's okay to say it hurts. Instead of holding it in, and now you're in 10 bad relationships after that because you never addressed the hurt from this first relationship.
That's actually a good point too. I think
so. You carrying this crap into the next relationship because you never dealt with your hurt and pain from this one. So now you going into the next relationship with the same crap.
Yeah, it's just kind of again that probably the stigma from the outside that people just kind of.
2 words.
Gotta let go.
Who cares?
Gotta let go.
See, now you sound like Ben Simmons.
I sound like
they talking about me. Oh, man, let me tell you. They not paying my bills. They not giving any money to whatsoever what I do. I could care less.
Yeah.
And you got to get to that point in your life, man. Look, I'm healthy and I want to stay. And like I said, maybe because I'm a cancer, maybe because of the whole cancer thing, I look at life differently. Life is too short to let somebody dictate your emotions. Life is too short to let somebody dictate what you can feel and what you can't feel. It's too short, man. It's like I use the same example, being transparent. When people say, "Oh man, when I found out I had cancer 12 years ago," and people, church people saying some of the dumbest stuff. Some of the dumbest stuff they were saying to me. Oh man, well, you can't be afraid because I can be afraid because I'm human. I'm a human being. My faith's as strong as anybody. Right. But when I got this thing. So I'm just saying, people say some of the dumbest stuff, man, and they, you shouldn't be afraid. Yeah, it's okay.
And I think that's a great statement and point to make. Yes, certainly is okay. I feel like
it is okay.
I'm just playing devil's advocate at some point.
I know it's
I don't want
and I know you are.
I'm an emotional.
When you sit in the classroom with a bunch of little boys, man, in the 7th grade, man, and they're unemotional about everything. You in here because you did this, A, B, C, D, F, G. How you think your mom feel about that? I don't care. It's heartbreaking. See, that's your mom.
Yeah.
Your mom is out there crying. Or your mom is, she's praying, crying, whatever it is, and because they're emotionally detached.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's a weakness. If I let my friends see I care about my mom, it's a weakness.
I do think you're supposed to be able to talk to your partner. I want to say that too. So when my partner watches.
Man. I talk to my wife, man. We had those conversations. And look, man, this is how I'm feeling, and sometimes I just need to say it. I'm not looking for a response. I'm not looking for her to get a therapist hat, get the couch out. No, sometimes I just need to get this off my chest because it makes me feel better. Yeah. And it's like when she talks to me, she doesn't always look for me to respond or fix something. Sometimes she just wants to get something off her chest. It's no different than, and for some reason that's just me. I know a lot of people who just need to tell me something.
I think that's an interesting point too. Like sometimes people don't know how to receive somebody else being emotional, like you just made the statement. Sometimes you just want somebody to listen. You don't want them to necessarily kind of be able to give you a plan or some steps, some feedback. So,
because I may not need that.
Right.
It's like when I found that I had cancer.
I think that's a good point to make.
When I found, hear me? So you telling me how I should feel?
Right.
Now I need to be okay because you wouldn't be because you never had to deal with it. It's like when somebody walks up to you and says, somebody real close to you died, and they say it's okay because they're in a better place. The second stupidest thing I ever heard. That doesn't make you feel better. But you're allowed to grieve. Jesus grieved when Lazarus died. You're allowed to grieve, and we got to stop thinking we can cut people's grief short. We can tell them how to feel. We got to cut that out.
And it's like, do you think we live in a society where that's deemed appropriate? Or
we're cold. We live in a cold society.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think that's the part of this conversation too. Is that just kind of
we live in a cold society, man.
It's like that's just kind of
I was
the way it is.
I remember about 2 years ago I was working with a group of girls, and I said, hey, we were talking, and I would say, I still give my wife flowers. You give her flowers? I said, yeah, I give her flowers. I open doors for her. Man, that's weak. I don't want no dude. That's crazy.
No,
you would say that.
Hold doors.
That's weak, man. I can do that for myself. That ain't weak.
I do flowers.
I'm not saying my wife can't open the door for herself. She can buy her own flowers, but that's what you do when you show somebody you care. But this generation of girls, junior high school girls, tell me how weak that is.
Again, I think another point I was making
because they're programmed. But somebody got to be. Somebody got to. Hey, be the change you want to. Be the change you want to see. Be the change you want to see.
Sounds fantastic.
Be the change you want to see, man. You gotta. I think, and I say this before as we close. I think that's part of the problem. One of the biggest problems we have in this country is, and that's a whole other show, is we have an identity crisis, man. We're allowing other people to forge our identities. We're so busy worried about. I posted something today. I did my video because I do a video, on Facebook, pretty much a couple days a week, and I talked about it, man. Don't lose yourself. Too many times we lose ourselves in relationships and our jobs and our titles and all this stuff that we forget who we are. We're so busy trying to be somebody else. We're so busy trying to live up to someone else's expectations. And this fits right in there. Mm-hmm. No. So because this is what love looks like because I saw something on some TV show, because this is what something. No, you love the way you built to love. And we all built differently. Some people touchy-feely. Some people got to say it. Some people got to hear it. Some people just need to know. I mean, it's so many different things, and you got to figure out what's acceptable. But we got to stop trying to tell people how to feel, because next you're going to tell you how to think.
Yeah, I think that's important. Like, again, I feel like I just enjoy
stop screwing these kids up.
Playing the other side over here. But nah, I do think it is important for you to be able to have a safe space, preferably your partner. Somebody that you're going to spend the rest of.
I love how you choose your words
carefully.
Help
it just comes out like that.
It's like a politician. Everything you choose carefully. Like I'm not going to take a
was
side. I'm
raised
going to be
like
Switzerland.
this.
I'm going to know you wasn't. I'm like Switzerland. I'm going to stay in the middle. I'm not going to take one side of it.
Because you know what? Because I do still believe.
Okay, let me ask you a question. This is the side. This is a
There's
totally
some things
different
you
note,
just
but it's
gotta-
similar. Do you believe in love at first sight?
It's a TV show.
No, I'm just curious. I'm just curious because I think the first part of
No.
love is emotional. I think
At
when you
first
really,
sight?
I think when you really know when you really get into love, it becomes a physical
What?
thing. But I think the first part of love is emotion. Why? Because somebody makes you feel good. That's
At
the first stage.
sight?
No, but I just threw it out there because some people do. But that's
Okay.
I know people say, "Oh man, she
Don't
made me
believe
feel a
it.
certain way," but people
Don't
do.
believe it.
But when you first fall in love, it's a different kind of emotion. It's like, man, this person makes me feel a certain way. Then after you've been together for a long period of time, it's also a decision because the decision is saying I'm gonna stay with this person regardless. So, but it starts out in emotion.
Yeah.
And that's okay then, right? Oh, that's okay. And we first date, and he can give me sloppy kisses and do all this stuff. After that, oh, come man up.
You're doing too much.
Just give me the money you pay for the flowers. That's terrible, man.
I mean, I think this is a great show. And again, I don't want people to think I'm just this emotional wreck out here. I do show my emotions.
We know you ain't an emotional wreck because you're the one talking about don't cry.
It's just
Every cry, boo hoo, boo hoo, boo hoo.
I'm just personally not a
Devin, I know you watching this, man.
I know Devin
when
not
I
a
see you
crier.
this weekend, we gonna talk about this, man.
Yeah,
'Cause I gotta know your thoughts on this.
Devin's in my lane.
Somebody out there feels me. Somebody
I
out
know.
there feels my pain. Somebody out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. Well, anyway, I want to thank our caller, Energy Divine. Thank you so much. So now you guys know you can call in through Podbean and participate in the show.
Yeah.
We're here every Wednesday from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. We're on Podbean Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Live, Spotify. You can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us on iHeartRadio. Yeah, we got it covered, man. What does Devin usually say?
He said, make sure you like, follow, subscribe on all the platforms that he just named. I'm not going to go through the list again. But Above Average Black Man, as always, here to empower, inspire, and uplift the community. Peace out, everybody.